All right, bro. I just came across this video here, and I thought, hey, man, I'm gonna make some. I'll make a review of this video, broski. Yeah, it's Mick the vegan again. This guy's such an idiot. But let's watch this video and review it. This guy's famous South African doctor. All right. Yeah, no plants. He says proof that plants and veganism is not a human diet. Debunked? How could you debunk it? It's true.
Hey, it's Mike here, and today my response to all caps proof that plants and veganism is not a human diet by Dr. Robert Sivis, the hashtag carb addiction doc. I think
It is not a human diet. See what I mean? You can put anything in your mouth, but it doesn't mean it's your diet.
we know how he feels about carbs.
This bull by the vegans and the vegetarians that their diet is healthy is absolute hogwash.
Not only did you guys request a response, but the video has also gotten up to about 350,000 views, and people are buying it from the comments. It's
Oh, he must be so jealous, eating him up inside. He got any of these views. Oh, I just love these people, these morons. They really stir up a lot of shit, man, with their bullshit.
like, yeah, you're absolutely right. And by it, I mean a ton of claims that are lacking science behind them about how, like, we just couldn't eat wild plant.
Lacking science behind it. You don't need any kind of real science behind it. It's obvious. The fruits and vegetables are man-made. They're engineered. It's a known fact. They're engineered. You wouldn't eat anything out in the wild. There's nothing out there really to eat. There was some stuff, not a lot, but you wouldn't eat it. Not the kind what they're serving you now. Maybe if you were starving, you would probably grab something out there in the forest or something. But it definitely would make you sick.
Foods like they were all poisonous and gonna kill us. And some ignorant claims about what indigenous North America
They are poisonous. They all have oxalates. Oxalates are poison, isn't it? What'd you think it was? Trick or treat? Special treat?
ate, as well as just some wild takes on human.
This guy actually thinks oxalates are healthy for you. It must be a healthy diet. I wish they could concentrate oxalates and just serve it to him, see how he feels when he eats it. I like to see the expression on his face.
Prehistory and what we ate, and I haven't covered that in a while, so much so that there's been new research that we're going to cover on that topic, and I don't think he cites a single study.
Hey Mick, how do you filter out all the the toxins and poisons in these plants that you're eating? By the way, what about sugar? The sugar that's in it, isn't that a toxin too? Kind of. I mean, it's kind of not natural for you to eat sugar, is it? Sugar is like a drug, bro. Especially refined sugar now with all these man-made foods you've been eating and you've been pawning off here on your site.
In the actual video. So we got a lot to talk about. Let's just go. Dr. Rob Sivis is a South African doctor who creates a bunch of, low carb, keto slanted videos that are, of course,
Very intelligent doctor, by the way. I've watched a lot of his videos. I did a couple, 2 or 3 or something like that a while back on my old channel. But yeah, it's quite an intelligent doctor.
anti-carb, and we probably both agree that refined sugar is not healthy, but I just need
Yeah, refined sugar is not healthy. He admits it. Hey, anti-carb, because you don't need sugar in your diet. You don't need any sugar in your diet. It's actually bad for you. Well, because it's anti-nutrient. That's what it is. It's anti-nutrient, man. There's no nutrients in sugar, bro. Any sweet stuff, there isn't anything in there. Plants have nothing but toxins and sugar. So what's the point of eating them? And the toxins make them anti-nutrient, and then the sugar makes you insulin resistant at the same time. So you got anti-nutrient and your insulin resistance. So fucking shit is gonna get in that cell. Nothing's gonna get in there. So even if you ate something with some nutrients from, like, say, a carnivore diet, it wouldn't be able to absorb it. Because you have 2 things that are going against you, anti-nutrients and insulin resistance. That's why nobody's building any muscle in the gym. They're having such a hard time on the herbivore diet. And so all this sugar is just being grabbed into your muscle. And you go, I got the pump, man. Well, that's sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. I guess people, they just can't see the big picture of the whole thing because they're not sure. Because there's nobody really educating them what they're on it, because it's really marketing. They're trying to sell shit to you so you buy it. So they don't want you to know the truth. Why would they give you the truth? You wouldn't buy what they were peddling, should I say.
to quickly remind people that whole carbs and whole fruits are over and over again associated with lower mortality. And let's
What? Carbs, fruits, and these grains are associated with low mortality? How can they be? How can that be? That's crazy. You're starving. Oh, low mortality because you're starving. It's a starvation thing, right? So if you starve, you can live longer. Is that what you're trying to say exactly? I don't know, man. This sounds fucking ridiculous to me. I know that meat is anti-aging, so this is nuts.
Just see what he has to say. This is essentially his thesis statement here.
How is it possible for a vegan to justify, or even a vegetarian to justify their food selection when it is an anti-human diet in that those plants never existed before?
Don't worry, we're
That's right. They never existed before. So how can it be your diet if they never existed? Yeah, exactly.
onto that whole notion in detail, but let's just go back to sort of the beginning of the video. Here he is showing what kind of company he keeps.
And
No. Don't avoid the question, bro. How could they be part of your diet if they never existed? You knuckle, you idiot.
I heard the other day a video of my friend Ken Berry going ballistic about vegans, and I love Ken. He's just brilliant.
Yeah, Dr. Ken Berry, major red flag. I did a whole response video to him. He's the kind of guy that has nightmares about...
Another smart doctor, too, as well. Oh, these are all doctors. What are you, Vic? Are you a doctor? What exactly are you? What exactly are you? Oh, you're Mick the Vegan. Okay. I can see the dark circles around your eyes. It's starting to get up with you. You know, the thing with vegan, if you probably don't understand, Mick, is that eventually... You see, as you were growing up, you did eat meat for sure. You weren't vegan your whole life. And so you actually stored a lot of these nutrients. They were stored. Your body stores them. So you have a lot of stores in there. But eventually it catches up with you, like everybody else, these other vegans. Your body starts to run out of these stores of these nutrients that it's been storing up. And then it starts allocating stuff, hair starts falling out, this starts happening, pee-pee shrinks, ball shrink, whatever, you become infertile, a whole bunch of things start shutting down, allocating, moving things around, because your body's made to keep you alive, but I guess you don't understand that concept, right? Yeah, cancer lives off sugar. Have you seen the new thing on the internet? It says that, sugar, hold on a second, let me go on my channel. I put in community section. I guess Mick doesn't know about this yet, right? No, he's going to say, oh, this is fake too, yeah, or something like that. Yeah, for Mick, everything is shitty and fake. Hold on a second. See if I can find it. Here it is. Look, eating beef starves off cancer. Scientists discover. How about that, eh, Mick? Eating red meat and dairy could help you fight cancer. A new study suggests scientists have discovered a specific fatty acid found in beef, lamb, and dairy products improves the body's ability to attack and kill tumors. How about that, eh? Wonder why that is, eh? Man, that beef is so unhealthy for you. It's incredible. More for us and less for you. I guess you love to. I guess you love the pain of being unsuccessful. Yes.
Steamed broccoli. And this comment shows the damage they're collectively doing. Quote, Dr. Berry made me unsure about eating healthy veggies. You just cleared it up.
I had to go through my own experience to find out, and I know that they are fucking damaging, bro. Trust me. Plants are gonna damage the shit out of you. They're poisonous and they're toxic, and they'll mess up your system. You'll have neurological diseases, you'll have metabolic diseases, you'll have fucking every kind of disease, you name it. Christ. Yeah, man, this is insane.
Up for me forever. Definitely.
Even autoimmune diseases, skin diseases, there's this oxalate dumping, goes through your skin, your eyes and everything. Oxalic acid, you're gonna erode your teeth, lose your teeth, just about everything. It's crazy.
Radicalizing people to a crazy diet. And when you're making a pseudoscientific claim, a lot of time...
Radicalizing people to a crazy diet? What crazy diet? Your natural diet? What are you talking about, man?
It helps to start out with something that is known and is scientifically valid. Here's his starting point.
Most plants hate us. Most plants in the wild type are poisonous to human beings.
Yeah, they're an apex organism on this planet. Because when we're gone, this planet will be overtaken by plants because they're the apex predator on this planet. Yeah.
That is an absolute fact.
I think New Scientist has a good quote that can respond to this. Quote, of Earth's estimated 400,000 plant species, we could eat some 300...
I don't know how many plants there were. A lot of it, okay, you talk about plants in the forest, or you talking about the ones that are engineered by man on these plantations, these farms? See what I mean, Mick? Come on, Mick.
100,000 armed with the right imagination.
I really doubt you'd stop and eat a flower. That's just gross, man. I wouldn't stop and eat any flowers or leaves or anything. Put them in your mouth. They taste like shit anyway.
And preparation. Yeah, with cooking, soaking, and fermenting, we're able to eat so many of these foods that you can't just eat right off.
Cooking, fermenting, and what? That's not natural process, Mick. That's fake. That's artificial, isn't it? Oh, so you think that if you do these artificial means that would give you the right to eat it, right? That would make it healthy for you if you alter it somehow artificially. I get it now. Okay.
Off the plant because we have adapted, and I will say this just brings me right back.
We have adapted? I didn't adapt to anything. I don't know about you, bro. Maybe you adapted because you're nuts, because you're on drugs, bro. You're eating sugar all day, so you're on drugs. Sugar is a drug. It's much more powerful than cocaine or any type of other drug that's out there. So you are on the drugs, bro. Get it? So for you, maybe, yeah, you're adapted. I don't know what you're talking about, but eventually, don't worry, it'll catch up with you like everybody else who thinks they're smart.
Back to Dr. Anthony Chafee, another one of those carnivore people who
claim that they're smarter like you, Mick. He doesn't claim anything. He's just telling you the truth. What's wrong with the truth? Does that hurt you, Mick? That hurts your feelings, doesn't it, Mick? Come on, Mick. Admit the truth, bro. It's hurting his feelings, guys. Come on. Look at Mick. He's about to cry. Come on. You gotta be a vegan diet, bro. Come on, man. Come with me, bro. Follow me to your death, man. The Pied Piper, bro. Yeah.
Plants are trying to kill us. That was his presentation that I responded to.
Well, they're not. It's not intentional that they were trying to kill you. It's because they have toxins in them and they'll kill you. Yes. People have been dying from plants even more now than before. I notice young people and everything, they're dying eating plants. It's a known fact. Oxalate poisoning, this, that. Yeah, man. People die.
A whole video touching on a lot of this, and one of my main points about that is the way.
Why would you eat anything that is toxic that would be against your nature? See, you can't detoxify these plants, but these herbivores can because they have special mechanism in the body, and they can turn sugar and these plant things, grass and everything, into muscle. Yeah, you can't turn it into muscle, but why would you want to waste your time grazing on grass all day when you just eat the cow, be healthy, and then you eat him. He ate all the grass and you eat him. Yeah.
That plants are trying to kill their predators oftentimes means antioxidants that extend our life. From this meta-analysis,
blood means antioxidants that extend our life? Well, that's funny because as far as I know, antioxidants in plants, because both the ultraviolet light from the sun and the reactive oxygen species generated during photosynthesis would cause irreparable damage. Plants produce antioxidants to protect who? Themselves, Borowski. See, because plants produce antioxidants to protect themselves. The antioxidants that plants make are not to protect you, Mick, but of course, you're going to fabricate some fake crazy shit out there, right? To convince us that antioxidants that protect plants will going to protect humans. Sure, yeah.
Levels of various plant antioxidants are wildly associated with lower mortality. For example, higher carotenoids in the blood associated with 40% lower all-cause mortality.
But what they do want us sometimes to eat is to eat.
And how does that happen? They actually make you sensitive to light when you eat these plants. When you go and you eat plants and you go out in the sun, they make you sensitive to the light. They destroy your skin because the oxalate dumping, bro. Yeah.
Their seeds so that we can transport their seeds in our gut and poop them out.
Yeah, some plants want us to eat them. That's not really helping.
No plants don't want us to eat them. They have a symbiotic relationship with the wildlife that's out there. Somehow they can swallow these seeds, but they swallow the seed whole. But you crushing these seeds and eating them and the cyanide being released out of them, these toxins and poisons, that's even worse, bro. Or you just like biting down on them like these nuts and shit. And just grinding it and releasing it. Yeah, that makes it all the much better, Mick. Sure, of course. We love to poison ourselves. It's great.
Argument there.
If we go back and we look at the plants that everybody on the internet and all our doctors and all the famous people are telling us we must eat and a plant-based diet is so good for us, none of those plants existed.
To boil his logic down, yes, boiling is another way that plants can become safe to eat.
Well, it's not his logic. It's kind of obvious, right, on the face of it.
Cases. To boil his logic down, this really is an appeal to history / appeal to nature fallacy. He's saying that if we didn't eat it 4 or 5...
No fallacy, man. We just didn't eat them. Why did we start farming plants? Why did we start doing that? Ask yourself that question. See, we weren't nomadic anymore. We moved around as nomads because we moved where the food went. And what was our food? Animals. And we know that animals would move around. They wouldn't stay in one spot. So what did we do? We moved around where the animals moved. We would eat them. But eventually we wanted to settle down in one spot, in one space. Yes. We became what? Farmers because of trade and things and all that. Then the spice trade became popular and all that because, of course, you have to spice these ugly plants because they taste like shit, right?
1,000 years ago, then it can't be good for us. Well, that same logic can be applied to, say, surgery with stainless steel. Clearly, we shouldn't be using stainless steel for surgery because we didn't in the past, therefore it must be bad for us. Let's just go back to using some, unsanitized bone shards to cut into people. And he's really promoting the alternative.
That's unnatural. What are you talking about? What does cutting yourself open with metal have to do with food? And going back to bone shards, we didn't do any of these things. This isn't a natural process to cut yourself open, Mick. You should stop doing that to yourself, man. Save yourself.
Of course, eating animal products directly, eating animal flesh, yet a lot of these animals have been bred.
Yes, we did. We ate wild game and we used the fur as clothing, and we used the bones as weapons, and not necessarily weapons, but as tools and things. And yes, and we ate the meat actually raw. We didn't have any pots and pans. How did we survive if we ate raw meat, raw organs, and blood, bro?
Do have a completely different body composition than they do normally or naturally. And
wow, is that as far back you can go back, Mick? 1957. You don't think that we must have lived a lot longer than that? Oh, why is the chicken like that? I don't know. Because they're using clenbuterol? I don't know. They're using clen, and they're doing another thing with chicken now. They call it, they kind of starve the chicken for a bit, and it's called the overfeeding rebound effect. So they overfeed the chicken and the chicken blows up. That's what they do, yeah.
a lot of that is just done with feed, how much we feed them.
A lot of it's tricks. They learn these tricks now, so they do it a lot more cheaply. It's a lot more cheaper to starve the chicken, then refeed them, and then they blow up really big, really fast. Much like Larry Wheels did. Larry Wheels gained 53 pounds, right? Came out of a competition, and what did he do? He went to the Golden Griddle for 5 days, eating at the Golden Griddle 5 days, and in 5 days he gained 53 pounds. He went from 230 something to 284 pounds. Oh my God.
It is breeding. He does mention that way later in the video, but he's like, oh, it really isn't enough of a change to make a difference.
No question, a hog is different than a wild boar, but not that much different. Cows are a little bit different than bison, but not that much different.
But as we know, that increase.
Animals are not that much different, really. They are being farmed, but they're not much that different. They didn't really change. Animals are animals.
Saturated fat raises LDL, which is causally linked to atherosclerosis.
But I know that they're constantly engineering these plants more and more all the time. Crossbreeding, engineering, yeah.
A very, very small fraction of those plants, and we've selectively bred them over 4,000 to 5,000 of years, and they have a higher carbohydrate content.
Yeah, they do have a higher carbohydrate.
That is true, man. That is true. I noticed that. Blueberries are not the same blueberries wild in the forest. If you were to find some wild blueberries on a bush or something, the ones they're cultivating are massive, and they're really sweet. And so are those grapes, man. God, they're so sweet.
Carbohydrate content, I guess he's saying that's bad because he's anti-carbs, but again, whole carbs healthy, and this says just...
Well, we're more into, I'm sorry, Mick, I'm sorry, mitochondria function better on fat. So we're more into fat and protein, high nutrient protein and animal fat diet. Unfortunately for you, you want to be unhealthy and be on drugs. So yeah, you can keep eating your drugs and be drugged forever because you're a slave, bro. You're a slave to the system. What do you expect? Slaves eat slave diet, bro, like you, man. Yeah, they keep you drugged forever.
Increase the calorie content and the efficiency of our food production system, which is a...
Are you trying to help them to keep us drugged too as well? The rest of the slaves out there, for a friend?
allowed for a larger population, which most people would say is a success in terms of a food. Obviously, there are downsides to too many people. But civilizations that relied entirely on animals, like the Inuit, virtually relying on animal fat.
Inuit, pretty much everybody in this part of the world, they rely on animals. They eat animals. We did too in Europe until we started becoming farmers, engineering these plants. Yeah. Fortunately.
And animal products weren't able to increase their population, which shows an inefficiency to support a population with animal foods like that. And it's also ridiculous to say that foods that we didn't domesticate are unhealthy. A lot of times they are healthier. For example, in my oatmeal today, I added wild blueberries because they...
What? Your oatmeal? Why would you eat oatmeal? It's like eating cardboard, man. And it's like, it's ultra processed. I think they have to like cook it like twice or something. It's devoid, and then they just fortify it because it's garbage. You're just eating garbage. Slave food diet, man. This guy's such a slave. He loves to eat slave food. Oh, look, I put some blueberries in it. My engineered blueberries. Yeah.
have a higher antioxidant content, which buffers oxidative stress, which is,
Again, antioxidants in there, which are what to protect the plants, as what I just showed you before. They're made, these antioxidants do what? To protect themselves. See, plants produce antioxidants to protect who? Themselves. They don't produce it to protect you. Stop fooling the public.
Implied in virtually every major disease. Yeah, and the idea that we didn't eat plants before domestication.
Oh, they cause diseases. They cause diseases because the poisons cause the diseases. They cause a disruption in your cells. And these oxalate crystals, they form everywhere in your cells. So it's a known fact. They stress your body, and anything that stresses you causes disease, bro. Get it? Yeah.
Medication is just ignoring like all of the fossil record, and so...
And they destroy the fuck out of your gut and everything. Man, they destroy your teeth and everything. They'll destroy you completely and age the shit out of you.
Much, for example, we can find fossilized poops, and those indicate that our ancestors were eating about 100 grams of fiber per day, which is like 5 times or more as much as the...
When was that? When they were starving and there was no food in the area? Well, they found rocks in dinosaurs' bellies. Rocks. Does that mean it's healthy, Mick? They should be eating rocks too? Should we be eating rocks, Mick? Yeah? I heard they're putting sawdust in, Rice Krispies. Is that a good thing, Mick? I guess you're enjoying that sawdust, eh?
Average American.
Prior to Christopher Columbus, potatoes didn't exist in Ireland. How did they get so attached to them? And what did they eat before that? What did the Irish eat prior to 1492?
I got that question too. What did they eat before they got, because major staple right now in Europe is potato. What the fuck did they eat before the potato came along? See what I mean? What did they eat?
All these plants didn't exist before.
He gets into what foods didn't exist in Europe, and because they didn't exist in Europe, he implies, I guess, that they're not healthy for European people. He mentions the potato, which is from South America, and fine, you're scared that if a food wasn't in your heritage, it might have a negative effect. So we could look at the science on various foods and their health effects. Another one he mentions later is the tomato. Oh my god, these are all super dangerous nightshades.
The tomatoes originally
I think Mick thinks that we're going to evolve to eat plants, so we'll just keep eating them until we evolve, and unfortunately we haven't evolved to anything. We're actually devolving, becoming fucked up from all this shit.
Wild form came from a member of the deadly nightshade family and was once believed to be poisonous.
Well, tomato protects us from the UV, has antioxidants which are great for us.
Again, tomatoes don't protect you from UV or potatoes because plants produce antioxidants to protect themselves, Mick, see? Yeah.
Especially for prostate cancer, lowers prostate cancer risk, and just helps health in general. And tomatoes were associated with low...
No, it doesn't actually. It causes prostate problems when you eat these plants, yeah. I mean, they increase your estrogen and lower your testosterone, and you'll have problems with your prostate and everything else, because it caused me fucking so many problems, man. So I got experience. I could tell you from experience, yes.
Mortality in people of mostly European descent in the U.S. And just because we didn't have potatoes doesn't mean there weren't plant foods. People in Europe were eating plants and staples like barley. And
they're full of oxalates for sure in there. I didn't say people ate them when they were starving and there was no game in the area. They'd eat anything if you were hungry. Again, are rocks healthy for you? If you're starving and you eat a rock to curb the pain in your stomach, does that mean it's healthy for you, Mick?
Go back further to the Mesolithic era, which was before agriculture. This is a study on staple carb crops back then. They found that some of these wild root/rhizomes can be higher in carb and energy content than cultivated potatoes, showing that they could have...
You think they were not smart enough to figure out that their plants were making them sick, they're poisonous? They know that. You can eat something and it's poisonous and you fucking die, bro. They never died when they ate meat. See what I mean? Yeah.
Well, provided a major carbohydrate and energy source for hunter-gatherers in Europe. And for a 2023 study that adds to that evidence, it found, again, Mesolithic era charred starchy tuber remains in Europe. It also references how over 90 edible roots and tubers are native to Europe that hunter-gatherers had access to, and that in particular 28 hunter-gatherer sites
Yes, they had access to, but that doesn't mean they ate it. Bro, get it.
across Europe have found plant remains in Mesolithic times, mainly roots and tubers. And they also make a good point.
Yeah, I'd dig up a root and a tuber too, man, if I was starving and there weren't any animals around.
That roots and tubers are collectively moisture-rich and fragile and are likely to be underrepresented in the archaeological.
The reason why a lot of them stopped being, I would say probably the reason why they did stop being, how should I put it? Nomadic, it was because they would bump into other tribes, and these tribes probably, you know, they didn't want to mingle with them, and they probably get into fights. And so they found it better to settle in certain areas, like most groups did. They settled in an area, and that is the problem. There's only so much wild game in that area, and as seasons change, these animals, they move with the seasons. Yeah.
Record, which is why we're just finding this stuff out now. And this video is sponsored by Seeds DS01 Daily Synbiotic, which is a probiotic and a prebiotic. And
of course, he's got the magic pill. See, he's gonna sell you some seedweed.
And one of these little guys has Earth. I see.
Hey, can you spot what's wrong with the meal if your goal is to lose some fat? Take a closer look. It seems pretty healthy.
See no humans. Where have they all gone? I only see this one video that was left by humanity.
This is a dire warning. We all listened to Dr. Robert Sivis and decided to give up plants and eat only meat. And instead of using the 30% of ice-free land that we were using...
Give up plants? We don't have to give up plants. You just don't eat them. They're marketed by marketing companies. They created them and then they market them. Does that mean you have to eat them? No. You choose to eat them, and you choose, remember, you choose to be sick. If you eat them and you get sick, remember, you know what you're getting yourself into, but they're not going to educate you on the part where they can make you sick.
We pushed that to 100%, and due to the feed conversion ratio for beef of 10 units of plants to 1 unit of beef, those of us who didn't die of heart disease starved, and the rest died of climate catastrophe due to ridiculous cow burp methane emissions. Don't make the same mistake we did. I'm dying. Last human alive.
I heard
Yes, be a slave and eat these weird, ugly plants and bread and weird manufactured, man-made food, marketing foods and everything. Make yourself sick, yes. That's great, Mick.
Acknowledged the other day, throw the blue zone diet at me, and these people are so healthy and they don't have heart disease because they eat blue zone food and it's all vegan. You go to those blue zone territories, the food that they're currently eating did not exist 500, 1,000 years ago in that specific area.
And I was just flip-flopping around because blue zones are the ones that live a really long time, and they're able to live a long time because of the foods that they didn't previously eat, but no, wait, they're unhealthy.
What's keeping them living longer is the meat. They're not devoid of nutrients. They still are eating meat there.
Because they weren't, like, I don't even know where he's going at this point.
And for those of you that are vegetarian or vegan and you love your kale, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kohlrabi, collards, you're eating cabbage. All of that stuff came from one plant. It is one plant that humans never ever had in their lives. We didn't evolve with it. We didn't grow up with it.
They do. The cabbage, they all came from the cabbage, man. They all engineered it. All these weird things they engineered from cabbage. It's crazy. Bok choys and everything.
Came for cabbage. What he's talking about is the brassica family here, and this actually did get me interested. Like, when did brassicas come into the fold? I don't think this matters again, because if we can show that we were previously
Why doesn't it matter, Mick?
eating plants, and we can show that plants are still healthy today.
You previously ate plants. I mean, if you're starving, again, you would eat anything if you could, just to curb the pain. You think they had Walmart, Mick? You think they had a Walmart back then, Mick? That they just went to Walmart like you. Hey, where do you get your fruits and where do you get your food? I'll go to Walmart. Yeah, it would be nice if there was a Walmart for them. They could go in there, but they were out in the wild in nature, so they had to just get what was out there. That's why they were nomadic, and when they settled, that was when the problem started.
then what does it matter? We do have documentation of eating brassicas quite a ways back from this paper. Sanskrit texts mention us eating them about 5,000 years ago, and coastally along Europe, we were eating them 8,000 years ago. And can we eat wild brassicas, or would those just immediately kill us? Well, it appears that from this study in Orkney in Scotland, they had evidence of sea kale consumption, which is a brassica, in dental plaque in a period before agriculture.
Yeah, if you were there and you were starving and there was nothing to eat, would you not eat that to stay alive at least a little bit longer until you found an animal? Sure.
And it's also worth mentioning that wild brassicas were around in the Fertile Crescent, so our ancestors likely ate those before agriculture as well.
How is it possible for a vegan to justify, or even a vegetarian to justify their food selection when it is an anti-human diet in that those plants never existed before?
Again, that's his main point, but I just have to say it doesn't matter the exact species of plant that we were eating in prehistory if we were still eating plants. They were still plants with plant cells, plant fibers, micronutrients, chlorophyll, all of these things that we're eating today. Yeah, maybe the carbohydrate content is higher now. But to really back it up, let's look at the fossil record, and thankfully we have fossil.
This guy's trying to convince you, man. It's just made up shit.
Dental plaques now to add to this, and looking to Neanderthals, human relatives 36 to 46,000 years ago. Yes, they were eating wild wheat, peas, barley, and rye, and various.
They were? Where were they eating that exactly? Where was it growing, Mick? Where was it growing?
Other foods. We literally have that in their tooth plaque. But maybe that's not far enough back. Humans have been around for hundreds of
It was in their tooth plaque? Oh, must have been starving.
thousands of years. Well, we can look to this study. We were eating wild sorghum over 100,000 years ago, and as Science Daily summed that up, this is, quote, the oldest example of extensive reliance on cereals and root staples in the diet of early Homo sapiens.
Again, just because they ate them doesn't mean that's your diet. You understand me? Yeah. They ate them most likely because they were starving. There was nothing else to eat. There wasn't a Walmart in the area at the time. They were looking for Walmart, boy. Walmart was not there, bro. Get it? Yeah, bro.
More than 100,000 years ago, but it's been a few years since that has come out, and I found another paper that goes even further back that I have not mentioned, and that is this one, which found charred starchy tubers 120,000 years ago, and again, he is South African.
Ooh, starchy tubers. They ate these starchy tubers when they were starving. But what was their main staple, their main diet, though, Mick? Ah, it was meat, right? It was meat, broski. Yeah, bro, that's the main diet. That's what it was. Their main diet, bro. Yeah.
And this was found in South Africa in the Classius River Cave. And as the study mentions, geneticists hypothesized that the duplication of starch digestion.
But they weren't eating the stuff that you're eating today because they didn't have it. So, okay, what are you trying to say exactly?
Genes in early Homo sapiens approximately 300,000 years ago is an adaptive response to an increased starch diet.
Man, I've seen kids eat toilet paper sometimes when they're children. They start eating paper magazines. They put everything in their mouth. Does that mean it's healthy for them? They love to taste things, children. They're trying to figure out stuff. But at the end of the day, they want to eat a carnivore diet, bro.
And that's wild because 300,000 years ago is, the most recent official date for Homo sapiens, anatomically modern humans, starting to exist. So that's key. And then we'll talk more about starch versus meat energy dynamics in a bit as he makes more claims, but I'll let him keep going.
One of the reasons that North American Indians never developed agriculture on a large scale is because there was just nothing damn well edible here in America, in North America.
So damn near nothing was edible. He then reads off the most ridiculously truncated, stunted list
What, he's reading off your list? You talking about?
Of foods that are plant-based in North
You just said tubers. That's all that was available, tubers. Tubers are shit, bro.
America natively.
What plants and fruits that we currently eat come from North America, or the berries. Blackberries, blueberries, cranberries, dewberries, gooseberries, grape, raspberry, and strawberries.
The three sisters are literally rolling in their graves right now. He does mention corn in a second, but I just have to say this is so either intellectually dishonest or he actually has no idea what he's talking about. I don't know. But yeah, North American indigenous people did have agriculture, around the same time that we did. They domesticated corn about 9,000 years ago. Those three sisters is corn, beans, and squash. I mean, corn, it's a big lump with knobs. It's got the juice, okay? But, throw farming aside, we're talking about before that, because domestication, again, not required to eat plants. And I have, this 1936 book that is just obliterating all of his claims here. It's What North American Indigenous People Ate. It's over 60 pages with about 20 foods on each page, the vast majority of which are native to North America, though not all were. To rattle some off, they ate fern fronds, coontie palms, which are cycads with starchy roots, the American chestnut, yew berries, juniper berries, various pine nuts, cattail roots, burr reed tubers, arrowgrass seeds, arrowhead/duck potato tubers, various grass seeds used for flour, and that's just a few pages in. Meadow garlic was one of the favorite foods of the Menominee tribe, along with a ton of others in the onion family. Then we got hickory nuts, pecans, walnuts, mulberries, pokeberry, amaranth, barberries, gooseberries, currants, May apples, American plums, maple frickin' syrup.
Yeah, those are for herbivores. They love to eat that stuff, Mick. That's their job. And seeds, that's to make plants grow. Seeds, seeds. You shouldn't be eating seeds. Why do you need to eat them? Don't you want them to survive? It's a holocaust of the seeds, Mick. Come on, Mick.
Which, of course, he's completely ignoring. There's also the pawpaw, which is like one of my favorite fruits. It's native. It just doesn't work well with shipping, so you probably haven't had one. There's also grapes.
Yes, I've heard about it, pawpaw.
That are native, so they've got raisins, they've got persimmons. To shut this case,
Again, a lot of this is engineered. It's been engineered by man for quite a while.
Ironically, Native Americans ate Indian cabbage, which is, of course, a wild brassica.
How do you know they ate that? Why would they put that in their mouth? Come on, unless they're starving again.
Not that his brassica claims even mattered, but there you go.
But the Central Americans had papaya, they had sapote, they had corn. Corn comes from Central America.
Wrong. Corn was domesticated in Mexico originally, and then, of course, it moved northward to the rest of North America. And this is where his logic gets even more confusing, because he's like, oh, well, in North America, they didn't have enough edible plants, but they also didn't have enough edible plants in Europe until they got North America's edible plants. I think you're getting the point that all of that is nonsense, but then he kicks it way further back into, primate evolutionary.
Why is it nonsense? Why don't you provide some proof?
History.
Way back, as a primate species, our intestine was developed so that we could handle cellulose, which ruminant cows can metabolize in their four-chamber stomach, gorillas can metabolize in their colons. But we've lost that. Our colon can't do that. Our stomach can't do that. We lost the ability to use plants as a primary source of nutrition.
Yes, humans, we just lost the ability to eat plants. That's why every major civilization is fueled by plants. I don't know. But in terms of the cellulose thing, he's talking...
because they want to market it and make money, because... they're selling you things that are actually free in nature, but making money off of it, because out there it's free, but then when they sell it to you, you pay for it, Mick, because you're dumb? Yeah, you could go out there and get it yourself for free, but you want to pay for it.
About folivores, which is one adaptation that certain primates have, but the ones that we evolved from are largely...
Think about it, Mick. If it's so good for you, all these plants, and why doesn't everybody in every corner block and every property that you walk down the street, why don't they plant a fruit tree, some, vegetable things there, whatever, so as you're walking down the street, you can get them for free? Some mango trees, bananas, this, that. Just grow them everywhere. Why not grow them everywhere? Yeah, in your backyard, here, there, everywhere, in the street, front lawns. Just grow them, man, so you can get free vegetables and fruits. You said, Oh, I know, because your government doesn't want that, because they want to control it so they can sell it to you and then make money off you. They don't want you to get it for free.
Frugivores, they are fruity.
God forbid if you were to get anything for free. Fuck it. You gotta be that's gotta be taxed and all that, because you're a slave, Mick. You understand me? You gotta pay them.
eating, and that digestive system also happened to do quite well with starches that are cooked. Remember 300,000 years ago, our
Yeah, you cook those starches, and believe me, that sugar content goes up way sky high.
starch digestibility likely doubled, and then we didn't even come to Europe until about 40,000 years ago. So that's a big chunk of human history.
What did we eat?
But the bottom line is we function much better on animal and high high animal fat, protein, nutrient diet, though. That's the thing. Not saying you can't put any of these things in your mouth. You can put them in your body, but you won't function very well on it.
Well, we migrated out of the jungles and we started eating more
Let's just say it ain't premium high octane gas, bro.
and more animals. And our brains are mostly made of fat, cholesterol and fat, which had to come from marine animals for the most part, because those are the essential fatty acids.
And starches really fit the puzzle here. Looking to Karen Hardy, an archaeologist, and her team, they say that there are several reasons that starches were great for fueling our brain and helping humans evolve into what they are today.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. We need fats for our brain and stuff. That's why people are pushing omega-3 and everything, these oils, fish oils, and everything else, bro. Believe me, every vegan that dropped off, and as soon as they ate some fish, they say, big cloud came over and their brain started to function. Why is that?
Today, our brain is really hungry for glucose. Starch is changed.
Of course your brain is hungry for drugs. It's always hungry for drugs, sugar drugs, a drug. Yeah, man. Once you've been drugged, you've gotten used to this being drugged, and getting off of it is really, winging it is really hard. Getting your body to regulate back to the way it should be on animal fat as opposed to running on drugs called sugar. Yes, Mick.
Of glucose, and starch has a bunch of other advantages, like how it can be stored. It doesn't have a risk of
Yeah, it can be stored and create these artificial muscles. They can get stored in your muscles, and then they hypertrophy, and then you get these artificial muscles. A lot of people look really big out there because they eat a lot of starch. They just get massive, and they just look big walking around because, yeah, they like that. They like that herbivore look, to look like herbivores and not carnivores.
giving us diseases like animal foods do. It's also a source of energy that isn't tapped by a lot of other animals. And this is where energy comes in, because cooking...
Energy? What type of energy, though? Is fat energy? Fat's energy. But sugar, yeah, it's definitely a type of energy type of drug, man. Make you work harder, the slaves, to work hard, go to work, and bring home the bacon, yes.
Starch makes it digestible. That was our unique advantage. One good reason that we were able to...
It's our unique advantage is to be enslaved, and not enough for you to die, but for them to make cash in and make money off this shit off you, and then squeeze every fucking drop of blood out of you by sending you to your slave job, eating the slave food, yes.
To break away from other animals in terms of intelligence. There's a reason, like I always say, that lions aren't the ones that are flying around planes despite being the apex predator. That would be...
Why do they need to be flying around in planes? Why do you need to be flying around in planes? Because you got nothing better to do? You want to make money and make other people work for you by enslaving them.
Way better than a monkey walking out of the forest at hunting down and eating meat. So it implies that we had to be eating animal fat in order to build our brain. And yes, our brain is about 60% fat, and it also has about 30 grams of cholesterol in it total. But as you know, the human body can make its own cholesterol. That's what the vast majority of our cholesterol is from anyway. And as for brain fat, our brain has about 800 grams of fat, which is about 7,200 calories worth of fat that we have like 16 years of adolescence to build up. And I should add that we can turn carbs into fat, so there's no reason that we need animal fat to do that. I would also add that plants have...
You can turn carbs into fat, but yeah, it's I don't want to get fat though. Makes you turn carbs into fat. Makes you insulin resistant, and the fat that's in there will make you fat. Yeah. They're anti-nutrient too. It's another problem, Mick.
Fat? I can't believe I need to explain some of this stuff, but clearly he doesn't know that. Anyway, there's also just the energy usage.
What did you explain? You actually made up a bunch of stuff. What are you talking about? Hey, he has to explain to you because you don't know anything.
Which really puts things into perspective here, and that is that the human brain burns about 400 calories per day of glucose. That's like 12,000...
Glucose, because you're used to eating glucose because they have you drugged. And so you're burning this glucose, okay? I don't know. The brain functions better on animal fat. You're still eating animal fat though, and protein and stuff from animals. People are eating that out there. What do you talk about, Mick?
Calories per month, 140.
I see the meat flying off the shelves. Go to the store and you'll see people eating meat, bro.
46,000 calories per year, and we're talking about millions of calories of glucose burned, to reach 16 years old through adolescence, wherever you want to make that cutoff. So what's more important in growing a human, getting 7,000 calories of fat to structurally build the brain, or getting millions of calories to fuel the brain and start again being chains of glucose is great at that.
I think animal fat is much better to fuel the brain, and fish, omega-3s.
So this bullshit by the vegans and the vegetarians that their diet is healthy is absolute hogwash.
It's amazing that you can just make these claims.
It is because because these vegan and vegetarians are trying to say that the natural diet is unhealthy, yet their diet is healthy when in fact it's unhealthy.
And because he's a doctor, he doesn't need to cite anything. It appears people will believe him anyway, but I should...
You didn't cite anything either. You made up a bunch of stuff, and I just debunked you as well. It's a plant antioxidants, bro. That just alone says it all.
Just look at some research with you guys. First of all, vegans have a lower cancer rate from this meta-analysis by about 15%. They also have
Meta-analysis? That's garbage too, man. I don't know. I don't believe any of that stuff. They're paid to say that. Yeah, because it's a business. They're trying to sell you something, Mick. You're an idiot.
78% lower risk of total diabetes and 50 to 70% lower risk of...
I would make the same thing too. I'd pay somebody to pretend and make up these things too if I had to sell you a product, you idiot. Look, man, the industry is built on lies. Even the fitness industry is built on lies. They tell you that fitness is healthy for you. Name me one health benefit of fitness. There isn't any. It makes you better at doing those things, but it doesn't fix your health if you have a health problem or anything like that. It doesn't take away diseases or anything. If anything, it doesn't equate to longevity either. If anything, it shortens your lifespan. It fucking stresses you, bro. It can give you cardiovascular and a bunch of other problems.
Of hypertension. We can see a vegan diet opening up blood flow in arteries, like in studies by...
Here's the thing. I just read that thing. I told you, the meat. I don't know if it's in here. Yeah, it's right here. The meat diet. Or meat is anti-cancer. See? Beef starves off cancer, scientists discover, and a bunch of tumors and everything else. Kills them off. So I don't know what you're talking about. It's a new report.
Esselstyn, and vegans average normal BMI unlike their meat-eating neighbors. And I should say that low-carb diets, like the ones that he's promoting, are...
He's less lying and making up a bunch of stuff, man. That's all. He has to do that because his diet is deficient. See, anybody that has to convince you of all these things, then it means that it's garbage. See what I mean? When you're eating your natural diet, you don't have to convince anybody. Everybody that goes to the buffet, the first thing they want to eat is meat. They only care about eating meat because they know money. They're paying for it. The reason why they eat the slave diet, because money. They don't have enough money, so they eat the shit, garbage. You understand me? Because it's a slave diet. That's why they have you all like that. Elite people, they're not eating that, bro. They're eating meat, okay? You, Mick, you're a poor guy, okay? You're probably a very, very poor guy, so you have to eat a slave diet. Good luck with that, bro. Take care of yourself.
Associated from meta-analyses with about 30% increased all-cause mortality. I know I mentioned that
50% all-cause mortality, this and that. Sure, man, yeah. As far as I know, the longest-lived people had high cholesterol through the roof, and they eat meat. And when you ask the people in Okinawa, what do you want to eat? They say red meat.
Every video, but people don't seem to be getting the message. So, our ancestors certainly weren't ethical vegans on average.
They weren't ethical vegans, but they made it this far, didn't they? So if meat diet is so bad, how come they fucking made it this far? We made it this far on a meat diet, a natural meat diet.
They were obviously eating a super plant-heavy diet to the point that we can...
They were not eating a super heavy plant diet, bro. Man, he's making this shit up now.
Thrive and be super healthy eating a vegan diet today.
You can thrive and be super healthy on vegan diet today. You want me to show you the compilation in my community section? Check it out. 19, 18, 20, 21, whatever, 22, 23 compilation vegans all dropping off. Their hair's falling out and everything. What are you talking about? That's the proof alone, bro. They all went carnivore.
No, those 100 grams of fiber per day poops did not come from only eating animals.
Look, I'm not saying, look, I'm not saying that you can't have some plants, maybe you can handle them, or some fruit. But you definitely are going to eat meat in your diet to keep you healthy, and animal products for sure. But when you eliminate them and you try to now shift, you as a carnivore shift to all plants, that's when havoc reaps. That's the problem. He's trying to convince you that you can abandon your natural lifestyle or your natural diet and go all fake and artificial. You know what I mean? He says it's healthy for you to do that. Is it healthy for you? Think about that, man, for a second. It's devoid in nutrients anyways. Plants are deficient. And meat is not deficient in any nutrients. It has all of them. So what happens if you're deficient in nutrient? Well, eventually your cells become senescent a lot faster. They senesce. And then if they stop replicating at some point because they're deficient in these nutrients, cancer takes over. The cancer is to keep you alive so you can procreate, fuck, make a child, and die. And continue on. Life must continue on. Get it? But you can regress that cancer by stop eating all that sugar. See what I mean? All-cause mortality is plants and sugar that are in there, and refined sugars and wherever else. So yeah, why does meat starve it? Because meat has zero sugar in it. That's why it starves tumors and cancers, bro. Come on, it's kind of obvious. So yeah, man, there's no sugar in there. So sugar is not very good for you. I'm not saying you can't handle some, but it's not good for you. It's a drug, bro. Yeah. But he's trying to convince you that, hey, man, you're going to stay healthy on this, moving to a diet that's unnatural. Yeah, that's crazy.
Because we couldn't eat plants.
Designed for animals, for protein, for fat, for animal nutrients. That's why a ketogenic diet is the proper human diet.
Oh, that's why all these keto people need to rely on these artificial electrolyte drinks to like even keep from being dehydrated. No.
Why do you have to take all these synthetic capsules, Mick, on your vegan diet if it's so healthy? You have to take B12 and a bunch of other things, choline, K2, all this fucking shit, bro. Because it's deficient, and if it's deficient, it's unhealthy. Get it? And meat is not deficient in any nutrients. Try to debunk that, Mick. I guess not.
And low-carb diets increase all-cause mortality.
We design plants as a source of stability, not as a source of nutrition. They smell good, they taste good, they look good, they're easy to cultivate.
I honestly don't think they taste good, but fruits do. They taste sweet. They taste good because just some of them, not all, but because of sugar in it.
Easy to hybridize.
It's funny that
tasting sugar, that's why they refined it, and they put it in all foods to make sure everything you're eating tastes good, because it tastes like shit. Slave diets taste like shit, but it tastes good in your brain because they put a drug in it called sugar.
It's that like plants smell and taste good, like it's some like evil temptation. Well, guess what? We have carbohydrate receptors on our tongues, and those weren't designed to have us eat refined
carbohydrates receptors on our tongue. Okay, but we also sense nutrients too, and our tongue touches meat, and we know it's nutrient rich. That's why we're going to eat it.
And sugar, it's because there were foods like...
And sugar, it's a drug, bro. We already know it's a drug.
Of course, berries and starches and those whole carbohydrates.
Berries and starches and carbohydrates. I love how he uses all these fancy words. Just say the word, man. Sugar, bro. It's sugar.
That were good sources of energy and kept humans alive.
It's a good source of energy. Cocaine is a good source of energy. It kept humans alive. It's keeping them alive now, sucking on the leaves in the mountains. In these places down there. So is that healthy? Is that healthy? I don't know, man. See? They just need something. They think they need something.
In the end, denying the massive, huge role...
They don't really need it. People have survived in these high mountains, whatever. You adapt eventually, but people get lazy. They want all these stupid things.
Of plant consumption throughout human history and evolution is essentially clinically insane, and I'm just going to go ahead and say that this guy should probably take his scrubs off because he has no idea what he's talking about. His claims are
No, he has no idea what he's talking about, but you do, Mick. You know everything, right? You're going to save the world, right, man? Come on, man, with your vegan diet, bro.
completely counter to all of the archaeological record and scientific evidence.
I know, you're going to save us all, everybody. You're going to save the animals, the world, and all that, because the world is going to shit in a handbasket, right? Yeah, Mick's going to save the world, bro.
I mean, yes, we have modern bred plants through agriculture, but plants still existed before that. Neanderthal.
They did. Plants, of course they were, but they were wild and they were ugly. They were out there somewhere. You know what I mean? But if you were a hunter hunting for game, you wouldn't stop and eat a plant, that's for sure. The only reason you probably stopped to eat that or whatever was because you had no game and you were starving. That's why I saw these hunters, when they didn't get anything, they ate some honey. They go up on a tree, grab some honeycomb, eat it, and then carry on. Then the next day they come out and hunt again.
Have fossilized dental remains of wild barley, wild wheat, wild peas, and we've got, wild brassicas eaten throughout the world. We've got just pages and pages of these wild plants that were eaten by Native Americans. I'm sure similar documents.
Pages and pages about this wild. We didn't have pages because they didn't have books back then, bro. What are you talking about? You're making this shit up.
Exist for everywhere else in the world except for, again,
I see nothing in a cave about a plant. They didn't draw any plants in caves. They just showed the animals and them killing animals.
the Inuits, who unfortunately weren't able to grow a large population. But perhaps most importantly, studies on eating plants today show, whether it's whole grains, vegetables, or fruits, that they're associated with...
Yeah, they did. They do that. They give that to slaves like you, Mick. You're a slave.
Decreased all-cause mortality. Clearly they are healthy,
Yes, decreased all-cause mortality. That's why the elite are all eating meat. The all-cause mortality, yes, decreased. That's why people who eat meat live the longest. Oh, okay.
This argument is wrong from all sides. Anyway, if you would like to try C's DS01 Daily Symbiotic, feel free to click...
No, I don't want to eat your symbiotic, fake, fucking vegan bullshit, whatever, green shit. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel, comment down below. Helps the algorithm. Mick the Vegan. Yes, proof that plants and veganism is not a human diet. It's not. It's not a human diet. It's not your natural human diet. It's not saying you can't eat that, if there's a necessity, but it's not your human diet. And when you go artificial, you're going to pay the consequences. See you in the next one, like every other vegan out there. See you later, man.